Hi, my name is Sarah and this is Coyote Tarot, and this is a virtual response, a VR to Katey Flowers' Only 10 Decks. I am very late to this party. This confession is the second time I've tried to film this video. First time I did my ultimate tarot video filming pet peeve and I had the cards out of frame when I was showing them. So round two. Trying to find time to film in natural lighting at this time of year is a challenge, folks. So that's why I'm a few weeks late to this party, and I hope that this is still a thing. I've really enjoyed and still am really enjoying watching other people's Only 10 Decks VR, so thank you for all of the hours of entertainment I've had watching everybody else's, and also the wish list it has now created for decks that I definitely don't need but want. That being said, on with the show. This is my collection and my top 10 today. I decided I would make it just super easy on myself and only choose the decks that I am loving right now, because if I thought too hard about this, it wouldn't happen. There would not be 10 decks that I could come up with. So ask me a month from now and this list will probably be very different, but this is what I'm loving currently. And that made it really easy for me to select these 10. So I think I have 3 Oracle and 7 Tarot. I'm pretty sure that's what I have decided to cook up here. And I have a very dangerous tower-esque stack of tarot boxes and decks happening. Like, it is leaning, and I'm just crossing my fingers this doesn't topple over during filming, because that would happen. So on with the show before I talk too much about nothing. My first deck that I have chosen is the Divine Feminine by Cocorina, and I have the nocturnal version. There's a black and white version, which is also striking, but I chose this version because the black and white version is just simply black and white, whereas the nocturnal version is different variations of beige and brown. And it has, I don't know if the lighting is picking this up quite right, but it does have gold foiling in the cards. This deck is on my list because I've had a great experience with it. I was not expecting to bond with it in the way that I have, and it's just been surprisingly a wonderful relationship with this deck. I found the readings were extremely accurate. I love the representation. I love the feminine energy that I get out of this deck. And it was just a very soft message that came with it, I found. And I love it. If I had to say I had a soul deck, which I don't think I'm there yet, but if I had to say, I would say this one is probably the closest. So that's the Divine Feminine Tarot by Cocorina. Next on the list, and I did see this on a couple other people's videos, is the Modern Love Tarot by Ethany. This one has made it on here for a few reasons. I do love the inclusivity and the card size. It's bigger than a normal tarot deck, which some people might not enjoy, but I don't mind it. It works for me. Also, the idea of having a relationship tarot deck is something I really enjoy. I don't only use it for relationships. I definitely use it for everyday readings and whatever else you got. But I do like having a deck that strictly pertains or is strictly used for a relationship kind of meanings and spreads. And I love that she's put a relationship spin on some of the cards. One of the things I love about the book, and this was mentioned in the other video that, one of the other videos that I saw that contained this deck, was this is a chunky book. It's full color, full chunk, and each card has 6 different meanings. So we've got a general love meaning, a single and loving it meaning, a ready for dating / love meaning, in a committed relationship, in a struggling relationship, and the end. So you can apply it to all different types of relationship scenarios. You're not kind of trying to make up how this would apply to something. If you're struggling, it's right there in the book for you. Next on my list is the Mermaid Tarot. I also saw this on a couple other people's videos as well. And this one, it could have very easily been bumped by something else, but I kept it in because there are a couple cards in this deck that really almost made me gasp out loud when I saw them. And one of the cards that I like to focus on is the Death card. I like to see different interpretations for it. And this one has a very different interpretation that's also kind of maybe a little upsetting perhaps, which I think I found it and kept it in the beginning. Is that it there? I think, yes, this is the Death card. So if a Death card can strike up an emotion in me, I typically really like it. And same with the three, I always want to say the Three of Hearts, the Three of Swords, same kind of idea. It just does give some feels for the situation. I like this interpretation of the 9 as well. And it's also an inclusive deck, which I do love. Lots of different body shapes and skin colors and hair. I really like it. And someone else also pointed out that the different environments for the different suits was a really interesting spin on this as well. And I also definitely enjoy that with this deck. And it's a Llewellyn deck, so it shuffles beautifully. I don't even have a thing for mermaids. I'm not a mermaid person. And this is still, I don't know, one of the faves. Obviously it's made it to the list, so definitely one of the favorites. And next, I believe, we have the Dark Mansion Tarot. And I did see this on a couple other videos as well. This one, I have the version with these backs, and I love it. This is one of my favorite backings on a card. So this deck, I really enjoy it because I find that you get, it doesn't come with a guidebook, but you don't need one. It's really, really easy to interpret what's going on based on the images being shown in the cards. One thing I don't like about this deck, though, I don't know if you've noticed, is the rose petal finish. I'm trying to grab just one card and a whole stack is coming. It's the one thing I don't like. I love how rose petal feels. I'm a very tactile person, but as far as a deck of cards goes, I don't love it. So I kind of wish, I think you can get it in a different finish. I'm not sure. I kind of wish that I got it in a different finish, but here we are. I'm hoping that over time, maybe some of it won't be as sticky. Nonetheless, I do love it, and it obviously did make it to this list, so it's not enough of a problem for me to not enjoy it enough. But I definitely love this deck. I love the stories that get told in the cards. I love the art style. I love the backs. Just not the rose petal finish. So that's the Dark Mansion Tarot. Next, we have one of the newer ones to my collection. It's the Golden Art Nouveau Tarot. And this one I chose as my Rider-Waite-Smith version. I have the plaid back Rider-Waite-Smith, and it is the one I learned with, so I can't say I'll never get rid of it, obviously, because it's not making its way onto this list. This is its replacement. I just don't love the art style. And I did mention that in my previous VR, where it was favorite tarot deck too. I did mention my reasons for not liking it. I don't love the colors. I don't love the line work. And I know you can get different versions. Like there's the radiant one, but this one just, I don't know. It just adds a little something something to the traditional Rider-Waite Smith. I just love the gold. I love the facial expressions that you get to see very clearly on these cards, which I know you do on the other versions of the Rider-Waite Smith as well, but I love gold. Call me, what is it? What's that Austin Powers movie? I don't know. These ones are just stunning to me. There's something about them, a little more elegance to them, I guess, with that little gold foiling at the back. I don't know. So this is my, I feel kind of sad. I feel like I've betrayed my plaid back a little bit. Sorry plaid back, but that's my Rider-Waite Smith clone that I have in my list. Next on the list and our first Oracle deck is the Threads of Fate Shadow Edition. This is, I think, the third Oracle deck I ever purchased, and I have a special connection with this one. I did an interview your deck spread with this, which I don't do anymore, but at the time I was doing them, and it brought me to tears. So I just kind of have a special connection with this. I also think it is gorgeous. It's stunning. I love the artwork. Now here's the backs. This is also a rose petal finish. However, it's not as, I don't know how to word it. I don't want to say it's not as hardcore as the other one, but it's just not as rose petally as the other one. It's still fairly rose petally, like don't get me wrong, but it's just not quite like the other one. It is easier for me now it's just made a liar out of me. The first time I filmed this, I could grab one at a time. Now, not so much. But I just love the backgrounds on these paired with the gold foiling. Just stunning. And I love the messages. I love the keywords. They really align with how I feel about certain things. And I just find that I don't know, they're just stunning. They're great to work with. The messages that come with them, I find, are just perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So that's the Threads of Fate Oracle. Next up, we have another Oracle deck. I almost lost my tower. Woo! I lost one card. It's the Awakened Soul Oracle by Ethne as well, same as the Modern Love Tarot. And this deck I, again, love because of the messages. Here's the backs, which are bees. Love me some bees. And the silver foiling, of course. I find that they are bigger. They're bigger to work with, but I find that the messages are very relatable as well. They're very easy to interpret, and it's fairly modern in its messages. I like the colors. I like the art style. There was one here that I thought was at the beginning that I'm not seeing. But this is just, I find it's also fairly relatable, and especially if you're reading for other people, I think it's a good one with like modern issues, modern artwork. Here it is, the Unplug. So that's what I'm talking about when I say I like how it's modern. Oops. I just love it. I think it's a great deck to use with yourself, with clients. And the messages in the guidebook I love as well. So it's Awakened Soul. Next on my list, we have the Oak, Ash, and Thorn Tarot. One of the things I love about this deck is that it is eco-friendly. So on the back of the box, printed by Generation Press, carbon neutral, solar power, vegetable-based ink. I love it. And one of the things this deck has, it does not have a guidebook, but it has these two cards that have kind of like keywordy things on it. So that's what you use instead of the guidebook, which I'm okay with. Not every deck has to have a guidebook. It's nice, but that would kind of go against being eco-friendly by printing more paper. So this is the only animal deck to make it into this video, which is shocking to me. I love animal decks. I definitely have a thing for them. So the fact that only one of them made it in here is kind of surprising to me. But again, I said I went with my favorites at the moment, what I'm working with right now. And this deck is just so sweet. And someone else actually had this in their video, and they brought up one of the things that I love about this deck is that they use black space in the background in cards that, for example, the Fool, you wouldn't normally think would have black space in the background, and it works. I love it. I love how it makes the card look. I think it's just visually stunning. And I love the art style of this deck. It's just so sweet. Here's another black space example. Beautiful. I love the animals that were chosen. I love the artwork. Just love it. And I love that it's eco-friendly as well. So good for them. Next is another Oracle deck. I think this might be the last one in the list. I don't know, but it's my Chakra Insights Oracle. And I'm actually kind of surprised that I chose to put this one on the list. It was my first ever Oracle deck. So I do kind of have a special relationship with it in that sense. But one of the reasons why I chose this deck was because of the guidebook. Now, I find the colors to be, and I know it's a chakra deck, so the colors are going to be bright, but it's almost a little too much for me, and that's kind of why I was surprised that this deck made it onto my list, because it almost comes across as juvenile in that sense with the colors and some of the art. I don't know if any of the cards are going to come up that I'm thinking of here with the artwork, but cartoony is wrong. I don't know. I just get this weird, not my favorite art style feeling when I'm looking at this deck. However, oh yeah, and it's glossy. However, the guidebook with this deck gives so much information. That is one thing I love about it. So there are regular, like plain old one card for each chakra, and then there are sub cards for each chakra. So as an example, if you were to pull a sub card for a chakra, you'd go to the guidebook and you'd go to that card and it would say, along with the information for this chakra on page number blah blah blah, here is your card message. But the information on page number blah blah blah, so here for example sacral chakra, it gives the colors, the location, the element, the attributes, physically governs, gland, archetypes, planet, astrology, crystals and gemstones to use with it, oils to use with it, harmonious / balanced characteristics, inharmonious / out of balance characteristics, how to tend to the chakra, activities, foods, colors, affirmations, and then how to balance the chakras on page 138 for more information. So this is still in addition to your regular card that you pulled, unless of course you pulled the regular chakra, but so colors, yoga postures, crystals and stones, pendulums, holistic healing, psychotherapy and counseling, music, getting into nature, oils, creativity, exercise, meditation, prayer, rest and relaxation. Like there is so much information in this book. And one of the things I love about having that much information is when I'm reading for my friends, because I don't do paid readings for like clients, I just read for my friends, it gives them so many options and so many ideas for activities they can actually do for self-care, even if they're not into chakras and whatever else that might mean to them. It still gives them activities that they can do, you know, wear green colors this week, wear blue colors, or use this essential oil this week, or do this activity, or try these yoga poses this week. or surround yourself with these crystals this week. It gives so many options for different activities and things you can do to bring that chakra into alignment, or just for self-care. So that's the Chakra Insights Oracle. And last but not least, which is fantastic because I can't feel my legs, is the Friends Tarot deck. This is another one that's really new to me. I actually got a gift set version of it that came with a full color book by the same artist and the same publishing company, which is just really for like mega fans, but it's pretty cute. And I do love is it Chantal D'Souza? Yeah, Chantal D'Souza's artwork, which you'll see in a minute if you haven't already. Here's the backs on these. Oh, just perfect. So this deck, I just used it recently with my friends and they loved it. It probably got the best response out of any tarot deck I have ever used with my friends. And, and I just love it. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's not one that I would probably use every day. And it's also probably not one that I would use for like serious issues or serious readings, but it's just, there's something about it that I absolutely adore. And Friends, just watched this episode the other day. Friends is something that's been around in my life for a long time, and it just, I don't know, it works. And people love this deck. They just absolutely love it. And another thing I love about it is the specific episodes that they have depicted in each, well, not each, like for example, I'm pretty sure that's not an episode, but there's some cards that you can turn over and you're like, oh, I watched that episode. That's an actual episode. I saw that episode. So that's another thing I love about using this deck. It's just, I don't know. You can't not love it. And the other thing that I love about this deck, oh, just turn right to it, is Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd, everybody. I have a tarot deck that has Paul Rudd in it. Of course, it's going to make it to the top 10 just because of Paul Rudd. Oh, here's the back of Paul Rudd. I think he's in 4 or 5 cards. I can't quite remember. It's definitely at least 4, if not 5. But it's Paul Rudd. Who doesn't love Paul Rudd? And he's in my tarot deck. Perfect. So that is it. That is my 10 decks, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, I didn't go over. I didn't break any rules. And like I said, it'll probably change a month from now. But these are the ones that I am currently loving, currently working with, and just have struck up a little bit of a relationship with over the last little bit. I'm sure I'll probably add to my collection throughout the coming year and maybe do a little purging for my collection. So this will be an ebb and flow list for me, I'm sure, but I did have a lot of fun making it, even though it took me several weeks to get here and a failed video attempt. But yeah, I had a lot of fun. So thank you to Katey Flowers and thank you to everyone else. As I said in the beginning, I have loved watching these videos and they've been really interesting to see everyone else's style. I love how everybody has different tastes when it comes to tarot decks. So that's been really neat to see. So that's it for me. I will stop rambling. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I'm not too late to the party. And I'll see you for the next VR I choose to partake in. Have a good day.